2.
Hello, Internet world.
You guys are live on the intro nets.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Is it late enough that I should have unscrewed a few light bulbs? Are we okay?
I think we're good.
I think we're all right.
All right.
I don't look like shit.
I was like, I just feel anxious.
Why do you feel anxious?
Because my team might be fucking going down.
Oh, that's a shame.
Only
it's a time.
22% chance.
I know, still, currently, until we get the injury report, we do not have anyone that can start at right back, and we do not have anybody that can start at left back. We are putting center backs in those positions right now. And also, our one opportunity at hope is also got a groin injury up top. So we might have to start Neil Lespe, which I'm not excited about. So...
Yeah, but I hear they're doing like the rack on Jordan Pickford to strengthen his arms. I mean, to lengthen his arms.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He made a nice little save in that Wolves match right near the end that we fucking needed desperately. Little kick save, a la Timmy Howard.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
He did.
All right. Well, we ready to get a show started, producer Mel?
I mean, I am a show, and I've already started. So, yes.
All right.
Hey, Graham, I know you ordered Ray Parler, Middlesbrough legend, but you got Taylor Thompson, P1 legend. You are listening to the DU Football Show.
Yeah, I figure if I'm hurting and going in through anxiety, what I have to do is lash out and hurt you. So that's what we got.
Middlesbrough legend still annoys me. That
think it's
particular piece
brilliant.
of it is fucking
Well,
terrible.
Middlesbrough isn't getting promoted.
True.
See, there's a positive. It's going to be Luton or Coventry, Good times. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham,
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston. Across the way from me, all hung up about Middlesbrough, right? Yeah. My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham.
I'm more hung up about Taylor being a dick.
Oh,
That's all right.
That's what P1s do, man.
It's not bad.
They get the bits. They got to
I
lay it
guess
on
they
you.
deserve it, yeah.
That's how it works.
If you can buy a ticket, you can say whatever you want.
Well, I would just say, it's like that bottle of champagne celebrating Manchester City's title. Bottled by Arsenal Football Club.
All right. Okay. Would you pay the price of admission too? Fuck you.
Well, it is partly my show, so I'm allowed to do stuff as well. Yeah. Hey, normally I would just say it's my show, and then you'd be like, get all butthurt and be like, no, I'm part of the show too. It's our show.
You've really stretched that 33% to a...
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
The closed group has been fucking fire. Absolute fire.
33% does not get you 100% of the control, okay?
Yes, it does. 33% of the time, it's mine. 100% of the time. That's some producing right there.
That's not bad. Write me a punt. I got a ghostwriter. I made it. I made it now. Well, I'm in. Well, you don't have a ghostwriter. You're a cunt. I have a ghostwriter. Come on.
There is a writer's strike right now, so they need to make money.
Shit. I don't have anything to pay you. Sorry.
Make me a scab.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show. And every single show, little gin binge continuing. Something just, you know what? Not too old, not too new. right between Old World and New World, and really fucking good. And my wife wants more. I'm going to give her more because I'm a nice, loving, giving husband. Remember that. It's we continue to bust my balls. Mr. Graham, what are we drinking?
I thought it was because you needed stents. This is Tulchin Gin.
Yes.
I just make sure the Heart Society is well aware that they have a comrade.
The J curve, baby. J curve.
This is Tulchin Gin. It is from Speyside, Scotland. It is imported by the Stoli Group, which is interesting because they have no other holdings in Scotland as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
It is 90 proof. It is a London dry gin in style. However, on our taste at least, it doesn't go as far as Tanqueray or Beefeater in terms of juniper quality, but it's not as soft as Hendrix or a New World gin in terms of like Bar Hill or some of those guys. It kind of falls right in the middle, that kind of happy spot of juniper where
Just the right amount of pine to it.
It's
Just that
enjoyable.
Right amount of zip.
It's enjoyable, but it's not like you're biting a pine cone or a evergreen tree. It is lovely. I think it's fantastic, and it's an excellent price point. You're looking somewhere between $24.99 and $27.99 on the shelf for this one.
Oh, that's a fantastic
Yeah,
price.
you can't beat it.
Yeah, exceptional gin. I really like it.
That being said, as long as they buy a case, if they buy less than a case, you're in trouble.
Yeah, then you got to
Then you're big time.
bottle charges
Oh,
because
it's bad.
somebody going to pay that bottle charge.
Somebody gonna get a hood real bad.
Going to be the owner paying that bottle charge. Yeah, this is it's a lovely gin. It's nice and bright. You're like you said, not too terribly junipery, but
Still a good amount of citrus to it as well.
Now-
I enjoy it
now,
so much.
Allow that to be said. As I don't mind the over the top juniper at times. That's the beauty of gin.
At
is
times,
you can,
right? Yeah.
bounce around. Sometimes just an old school Tanqueray and tonic or an old school Beefeater and tonic hits the fucking button.
Or
and it
Bombay
does it.
and Sapphire.
Right, Bombay Sapphire and tonic. Yes.
Oh,
Bombay and Sapphire.
it was recently Mother's Day.
Oh. Yes, I know. It was a Bombay. My mom loved Sapphire.
Oh, sorry, not Sapphire. Excuse me. It's
No,
right
no,
brand.
she drinks
Wrong-
Sapphire, but
wrong
not a
mark.
Bombay and Sapphire, dumbass.
No, I said a Bombay Sapphire.
You said a Bombay and Sapphire.
I meant Bombay Sapphire and tonic is what I meant.
She never drank tonic. She did a martini, and her martini.
Oh, she
would
did
be,
do martinis,
and
didn't
her
she?
martini
You're
would
right
be
about that.
about 10 baby olives in the bottom of a glass, ice, a ton of gin, and a bottle of vermouth that was in the closet because that was close the fuck enough.
Yeah, so when I do a dirty martini, it's always with vodka, never gin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I love me some gin and tonic. I love me some gin. Mike Rice is in the comments.
Hey, Mikey.
Ricey.
He's considered a beverage expert, right?
Oh, absolutely. He's a food and beverage director. That's what he does for a fucking
also
living.
published.
His expert opinion is, and I quote, gin is gross.
Oh, yeah. He does not like gin.
I knew he paid to be in that magazine.
If I recall correctly, because
I love you,
remember,
Mike.
this is years and years and years ago. I believe it was because Mike got really drunk off of gin and tonics, and as we always like to say, there is no drunk like gin, and there is no hangover like gin.
No.
And I believe it was a day that we were golfing.
Well,
the
it
next day.
stopped a country for a decade.
Why? Yes, it did.
Remember, probably longer than that, actually.
Yeah, it fucking did. Yeah, the gin's fabulous. Mel, what do you think of the gin?
I love it. It's classic. It is dialed back on the juniper, so it lets some of the other 58 botanicals, 730 botanicals.
You know how it goes
Yeah.
with gin. It's all kinds of crazy
I
shit.
do think it's kind of a
Oh, I like the bottle.
yeah. It's so you've got your kind of highbrow bit with the wood top and the gold ring here and all that, but then you get a touch cartoony with the tartan going down the side.
I like it.
But they want you to know they're Scottish. I don't mind it, actually.
No,
I
mean,
think
if you
the whole
didn't
thing's
notice
all right.
The kilt or the bagpiper or the mountains or
The bagpiper's also a quail, I think.
what?
Look closely.
Perhaps a grouse.
Could be a grouse.
Yeah, that would probably play into anything
that is
in
definitely
Scotland.
a grouse. But yeah, the
Quail's a little wee
Speyside-
one, isn't it?
Yeah, a little wee one.
Now this one's a full-grown bird.
Oh, with hands and fingers. That's not weird.
Now, so Tulchin, there's apparently a legend. That's a person's name is Tulchin
Okay.
in legend. So like Finn McCool in Ireland, apparently Tulchin is something. I haven't Googled it. I don't know the story. figure it out.
All right. Well,
But that's supposedly there's something to that.
so just to let you know, the
Allegedly.
so the quail, that's what Dick Cheney shoots his friends that he's supposed to shoot at. That's a quail.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, very good. What
That's
else?
why I mixed it up, because when I drink gin, I usually shoot
Shoot
my
your
shot
friends.
where I'm not supposed to.
Well, you're moving out of Baltimore, so you can't do that anymore.
And what else do we need to do, Mr. Graham?
Always remember to shoot your shot in the right place. Drink responsibly, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Please,
Let's
please,
have a
please.
great show,
Let's
kids.
do that. Yes. You just gave her the whole damn thing there, didn't you?
I mean, I just drank the rest of mine.
I mean, did you want to donate to the Producer
No.
Mill Fund?
Sure don't. I'm on a limit.
We open with the battle for Champions League. As the clock is almost run out on Liverpool, United looked comfortable, and Newcastle made a statement. Newcastle 4, Brighton 1, Newcastle 0, Leicester 0, Man United 1, Bournemouth 0, Aston Villa 1, Liverpool 1. Newcastle answers the call. They secure Champions League.
They do, but what I would worry about, especially going into the Champions League, is they should have been 4-0 up, and they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
They
That's fair.
got themselves relatively luckily to 2-0 up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they let Brighton back into the game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Then, because Brighton were pushing to guarantee their European spot, Newcastle exploited their weakness, and that's fair dues. Well done. But in the Champions League, you will not be able to do that.
Yeah, well,
You will
and-
find yourself with 3 draws in third place and going down to the Europa League.
Oh, yeah. And then you're playing on Thursdays, and then you're not playing anybody because you don't care about the Europa League.
Exactly.
Or them because they're in Europe for the first time
Or
will
you're in-
care too much
You're in a
about Europe.
playoff game, and then you don't make it to the knockout stage.
Or you are trying too hard, a la West Ham, and your league
Could fuck it up.
suffers because of that. But also, let's face it, they're about to get an influx of cash on top of the fact that they're already cash rich, considering
well,
that the
fair
KSA
enough.
owns
Yeah.
them. You got to imagine they're going to be making some big moves. Now, the bigger question of that when you look to the future is, how does that all blend? How
Well,
does Eddie Howe manage
So
that? Like,
right
all of that,
now,
right?
I'm not terribly concerned about it. What I'm worried about in the immediate future is their naivety,
Yeah,
right?
true.
And this game showed that naivety to an extent.
Yeah.
Because teams in Europe are not going to let them do this. They need to capitalize on their opportunities. They're going to be in trouble.
Now, I would say the following for them. You do have a great tool in Kieran Trippier because both of those first 2 goals come from set pieces from
100%.
who? Kieran Trippier.
And somebody with Champions League experience played in that final for Spurs, if I remember correctly,
Yes, he
before
did.
he moved on to Atletico Madrid.
yes, he did.
And he now has the experience also of playing abroad. And then came back and was essentially, besides Guimaraes, but Guimaraes was only 40 million,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Kieran Trippier was their first truly marquee signing, and
Yeah.
even he was only 40 or 50 million.
Yeah.
So there's enough experience in the squad that they should start to get these players to realize there's also going to be an entire summer to bring people in. And now, as you say, they are fucking stacked. The question is going to be is will these superstars they bring in or these people they bring in to round the squad out, is Eddie Howe going to be able to control them? Is he going to be able to shape them and mold them and get them to buy into the Geordie atmosphere and the Geordie way of life?
Yeah.
If they don't and they become less blue collar, they may have a disconnect from their fans, may not be as raucous
Right.
as they normally are. and if
Now-
they lose those fans and really with the naivety of the rest of the squad, that could prove detrimental next season for a bit. They may have their little blip. Remember, Pep Guardiola, they had already won the league. Pep Guardiola came in and didn't win a trophy in his first season.
Right. He did not have a good first run.
So, next year,
Lost to Everton at Everton 4-0.
that's what I'm saying. So next year could be that blip if they're not careful.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Where they walk away with fuck all.
And frankly, the rest of the league has gotten their shit together. There are
I won't go that far, but yes.
There are marquee teams in the bottom half of the table, and I can tell you right now, this is something I said 2 seasons ago, and I'll say again going into next season. There will be good teams that aren't in the top 10 in this league. I think there will be at least probably 12, 13 teams who could easily be 7th,
Yep.
but will be 13th.
That's
like
fair.
that's the league.
I don't disagree with that one
the
bit.
gap has gotten a lot tighter, much tighter,
Mm-hmm.
and you're particularly looking at who's going to make Europe and who's not going to make Europe. Says a lot about.
Oh yeah,
that,
I mean
you
we're
know?
looking up and down at Villa, at Brighton, at Fulham, and a lot of these clubs that have taken strides and bought players actually accordingly, as opposed to what Fulham did a few years ago and just bought anybody they can get their hands on, you know, and Nottingham Forest, who actually made that work for a change.
Well, depending on how it all shapes out, if Everton end up being in the drop with Leicester, you would have Leicester, Everton, and Southampton, who are all teams who have played in Europe in the last 10 years.
Yep.
Going down. Like, that
Yeah.
could be the case.
100%.
We'll talk a little bit more about Brighton themselves when we get to Oso, because there's some celebration for them as well, but we'll talk about it there. The match today, the Foxes and Dean Smith clearly had a plan. Do not lose this one. If you can snake it, if you can get a smash and grab, awesome, but don't lose this one. They went with 3 in the back. They only went with 2 up top. It was Iheanacho and Vardy. And
Interesting they played together for the first time as well.
Madison on the bench, Barnes on the bench, like that, and that's their those two guys. By the way, this is a team that could very possibly be going down. They have 2 guys in the top 20 fucking scorers this season. Like, again, good teams are going down, right?
That being said, though,
Yeah.
in this performance, 1 shot, 1 on target.
Yes.
They're only 1 shot and less than a quarter of the ball.
Their only shot was a brilliant save by Pope in the 95th minute. That's when they finally got a shot on target.
And I'll say it to you one more time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe in Jesus. But the only good save was from the Pope.
Heard. Very good. I would say
I'd argue, Mel, that the Pope has made many good saves over the years.
I would argue the Pope is best with cheese and everything and a side of fries, okay? That's all. I want a Whopper with Pope, baby.
I like a
That's what I
little
want.
religious humor to start the show.
But for the Foxes, it kind of worked. Like, now, it three
Newcastle
balls,
had 23 shots.
3 balls off the post.
They were
a
so
couple-
wasteful.
I mean, it just seemed like there was plexiglass in front of the goal. There were a couple that came off that were saved off the line. It
Of
was
their
just,
23, only 4 were on target.
yeah, well, and 3 were off the post, so 7. I don't like how they never count a shot that goes off the pipe.
post on target.
Like, that is fucking target.
That's the target.
That is the target. It hit
Yeah,
the
it
target.
hit the target.
The target saved it. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to give a keeper credit for that, but that's for the offense. That's a fucking shot on target.
12 corners to 1 in favor of Newcastle.
And the corners
Listen to
were
this.
giving Leicester fits.
Listen to this. Clearances. Leicester made 45 clearances to Newcastle's 9.
Yeah.
Leicester made 17 tackles to Newcastle's 6. It was 209 passes to Newcastle's 702, and touches were less than half. 360 total touches of the football to Newcastle's 877.
Wow. Insane.
It was fucking lopsided as lopsided could be.
So moving on to the next
But they
match.
survived.
Yeah,
they got
did.
their point. They did what they had to do.
Now it's win. Now they need help, right?
Big Sam's sitting over there going, I should have joined fucking Leicester.
Yeah. Well, it's they need help because if Everton win, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter at all. And we're going to get into that in the second segment. But moving on to the next game, Bournemouth and Manchester United. Sam, what was better on the goal? Was Casemiro's fucking amazing goal? Or was Christian Eriksen's pass better? Because they were both fucking brilliant.
So what I would say is I can't decide between a dead man's pass or a 36-year-old's. I think he's 36. Might be 34. I'm 37, and I couldn't make my body do what Casemiro did. But it's also quite hard. It's also quite hard for a dead man to pass a ball. So what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a toss-up for me.
I almost think the pass was better. I mean, it's an acrobatic over the head, spun around. Like, it was as great as we thought Gundogan's goal was 2 weeks ago against, or last week against Everton. Casemiro did that in the air.
Yeah, no shit.
But I would say, honestly, it was Eriksen's fucking pass was probably better.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Casemiro featured at the weekend.
He probably won't. No.
It hurt me looking at it.
Yeah.
I saw that and was like, I got to go to the chiropractor. Tegan, take notes. And I left.
Very good. Now, for Manchester United, that it wasn't the prettiest of wins. They had opportunities, but also, let's face it, Cherry's had chances too. De Gea had to make a couple of big saves.
Oh yeah, he did. And here's the thing I love about De Gea, because people of our age don't typically do it. You know, when they start getting up there, famous people especially, footballers even more specifically than that, athletes actually more so than footballers. How many times have we talked about the need to retire gracefully and this, that, the other?
Mm-hmm.
De Gea knows. De Gea is fully self-aware. Manchester United are shopping for a top-flight goalkeeper this summer.
Oh, yeah.
He knows that the market for him is quite small.
Mm-hmm.
He has offered, because he and his family are settled in Manchester, been there, a decade now, easy, maybe even 12 years.
Yeah.
He's offered to take a massive pay cut to be number 2.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not ready to retire, but I know I ain't it anymore.
Well, okay.
And
he
it's refreshing in a sense to have an athlete that is so self-aware,
mm-hmm.
but still wants to be involved. The funny bit comes as it's the same week that Phil Jones retires.
Yeah, I know.
Who's been stealing a living for about 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing for you though too is, well, no, that face that we use in all the memes pays for itself, man. That just pays for itself. But here's the funny thing. Your Golden Glove winner this year, David fucking De Gea, most shutouts in the
right?
fucking league.
Yeah.
You know, so you could say, yeah, he's slipping, but has his best year for shutouts with a shoddy defense at best this season.
Mix and match all the time as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they change their shape and formation loads.
His
And
big
remember,
problem.
they started playing the league with 10 men on the field every game because of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right.
We forget he was still here this season.
9. Let's not forget Harry Maguire. He was too busy pointing at things. Yeah. Producer Mel just looked up into the sky and pointed. Very good. But you know what? Get a point against Chelsea in the middle of the week, and you've secured Champions League, and you've also kept your bitter rivals Liverpool out of the
That's why they're
Champions
going
League.
to win.
Yeah, you got to figure.
United are going to win midweek.
Yeah.
To hear more hot takes, patreon.com/Do Football Show, and listen to the preview show called Injury Time. Only costs you $5 a month. That's the only one you're getting out of me today, cunts.
I had to go back and watch the replay, but Villa Liverpool, chippy fucking match.
Now, there was, as a neutral, a noticeable, and a broadcaster, an unbiased,
Unbiased?
fair, a biased broadcaster, but a neutral in this one, unbiased between these two, a noticeable absence from said highlights.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I find that quite interesting.
They didn't show the penalty that they showed the penalty that Watkins missed, but they didn't show the foul that went to that penalty. And then they didn't show the questionable red card for Means in the highlights either.
Why wouldn't they show that?
Well, with the first one, I want to know if there was a Betty Pat envelope passed in the evening the night before.
No, that was definitely a penalty.
What happened?
Watkins-
I didn't get to see it.
Watkins had the ball and was in the box, and the guy physically took him down.
Took him down from behind.
Yeah.
Kanate.
Pulled
I
him.
never saw it.
If it was
wish I
Virgil
saw
van
it.
Dijk, it wouldn't have been called, but it was Kanate.
Yeah,
so it got
no,
called.
like pulled him down, and Watkins would have scored. He was in position
For real?
and was
Then
like
Konate should have been sent off if
was
that's the
ready to
case.
shut
Nope,
it off
just got
and
a yellow.
just tackled him down.
Interesting.
And then for Mings with the high leg, I would just say, Fabinho it was Jota just 2 weeks ago had kicked a guy in the fucking face. So
Mings is a big guy with big legs. And he was going for the ball, and he got the ball, and the other guy ran into him.
Honestly, what it is we talked about this a few weeks ago.
Probably why it was only a yellow.
Was if it's not between the knee and the ankle, the red card does not come out. If somebody kicks somebody in the chest, it doesn't. The red card does not come out.
2 years ago with Sadio Mane cleated Ederson in the face.
Well, that would be this season, because there's been multiple
No,
times
I'm
it's
just
happened.
saying,
And it
The
just doesn't come
foot
out.
was below shoulder, but
But now, if
above
Mings
belly
got
button.
the ball first and someone ran into him, as she described, it's probably why it was only a yellow.
Right. And I mean, in all likelihood, a lot
But
of times.
if I've got my leg at my waist and you do a diving header, the card should go to you for a
Right.
dangerous play.
Well, I'd also say that a lot of times too that the feet up like that is normally you don't even know the guy's there and the guy
Correct.
comes into the play, which I get and I
100%.
understand. My greater point is just that we all are up in arms the minute the spikes are up somewhere between the knees and the ankle. We all lose our fucking mind. Why aren't we losing our fucking minds about fucking spikes being up going into a chest or spikes being up going into a face? There should be the same amount of outrage.
Who did Mings hit?
I don't even remember who it was.
I don't remember, but it was in the shoulder, and it was fine. Everyone was fine. It was all fine.
Was it Salah?
No.
Say that's why they're up in arms.
Give it up to
No.
Give it up to Ramsey with the goal, and then the shithousery.
What a
hand
fucking-
to the ear at the fucking cop, running right by him.
But what a fucking volley that was. How composed can you
Oh,
be?
yeah.
I mean, you could call him Mozart. He was so composed.
They've got themselves a hell of a midfield between McGinn, Louise,
excellent.
and Ramsey. They got
And
themselves
Ramsey
a
has
hell
more
of a-
room to grow, big time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, now he becomes a sellable asset too, because let's say he gets a year in Europe and becomes really good.
Cody
Suddenly-
Gakpo.
Gakpo.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
fine,
it.
it's all right.
Just kicked him in the face.
He's Dutch. He's literal. He'll
happens.
handle it. Unless you're Dutch and literally trying to hurt friends and family members of West Ham, which we'll get onto that.
Oh, we'll
in a
get
bit.
onto that.
We'll definitely get
That's
onto that
coming.
one.
No, McGinn definitely made himself a problem. And Mourinho, holy shit, that guy with his defense. Van Dyke, there was a spot where Van Dyke was going to get the ball and lob it in, and Mourinho,
Moreno.
I was right the first time. I don't know why I have a problem with that one.
There's no Enye. There's no squiggle over the N, so it's Moreno.
So
If there was one, it'd be Moreno.
Moreno.
Yeah,
Moreno.
that's it.
There you go.
I need to
Good.
come up with a nickname for that kid because it bothers me.
Maury.
Maury.
The other one
Maury.
retired.
He's a loanee from Batista. You might not have to worry about that next year.
Maury played his dick off, and he had a flying defensive header that was amazing. Unfortunately, he also got injured in the process, but he has had a fabulous debut. With
Just
Villa.
got word. Just got word.
Breaking news, but news feels like breaking.
You are the defender.
Hey, now,
I got a wry smile out of that one. Hey, they're
Allow-
getting better.
allow me to ask this question again, Mr. Graham. Which was better, Bobby Firmino's goal or the pass from Mo Salah? Because both were
The
fucking
two-footer
ridiculous.
goal.
Firmino's goal.
Because it's the last.
God,
kiss
it was
goodbye.
magic.
It's the last.
It's the
kiss
goodbye. It's in front of the cop. That's magic.
Yeah.
But besides that, he fucking did a sweet chin music to get it in. Like
Dude.
I looked 3 times, rewound it, looked again, rewound, looked at it
Like,
again.
I don't know which
rewound.
foot hit it.
I
Both
watched
of them?
another set of highlights, went back to those highlights and watched it again.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to drop kick that ball in the back of the net, but he did. I thought he got tackled initially.
Nope.
Yeah.
And he was getting his trail leg out of the way so
Nope.
his leg didn't get broken.
But it was
It didn't-
insurance.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
I'm hitting this ball with one foot or the other.
Something's happening here. He did like a goalkeeper. He just made himself big. It's going to hit me somewhere. Fuck it.
But then
It was great.
Mo somehow put off a pass that curved back into how he was jumping onto the ball.
Outside of his left boot.
It
He's
was
always
just-
left footed as
just-
fuck, Mo Salah. Yeah, it was
it was
awesome.
insane.
But that
Absolutely insane.
finish and Bobby Firmino's gone so underrated. Obviously the worst part, the saddest part, person in Liverpool is his dentist.
Keeping them pearly whites going.
Well, not even that. Apparently, and I heard this about 4 days ago, people have gone to the dentist going, give me the Bobby Blancos.
Fake news.
That does sound like the most scouse fucking phrase
Give
ever.
me the Bobby Blancos. They want the Bobby Whites.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like the most
other
scouse
thing I've
ever.
heard is there was a team meal that was only outside company included Firmino's family for some reason
Okay.
at Anfield. They toured the stadium, and then Firmino just took his entire family and friendship entourage on the team bus. And they just rode around Liverpool doing a sightseeing tour of Bobby Firmino's life in Liverpool.
Very cool.
Because I guess nobody's visited.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know he did get done for drink driving at one point, which obviously is an issue, but I guess he hasn't driven for a bit and couldn't drive anyone around anymore. So he just did the team bus, and they came to see his last game at that stadium, and they just drove him around the city going, yeah, we used to drink there, we used to eat pasta there, we used to do this.
Yeah, just pointing out the town.
He's not dead.
He's just leaving.
Why are they? He'll be back. I'm sure. Every testimonial, he'll be involved.
There is no life after Liverpool. Just ask any Liverpuddian that. You know how they are. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty fair, actually.
Yeah. Now the other thing to mention is for Villa, you went into a place where they've been playing great fucking football, and you managed to get a draw out of them. I mean,
we did the same thing first, but
right.
yeah.
But you were also up 2-0.
All right, okay. We don't need to go to the specifics.
We like to call that the beginning of the end, Mr. Graham, is what we like to call that.
What we like to call it is move on.
Okay. Now, but that big point puts them a point ahead of Tottenham, and now their destiny with Europe is completely in their hands. Win, and it does not matter what Tottenham does.
Correct. And I think that will affect the last game of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I will be up front now. I told you pre-show. There will not be a draw this weekend, I don't think, because it feels like enough of the table has enough to play for, and the competition they're each against, none of them really play each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, somebody that cares about Europe is playing somebody already relegated, and, you know, somebody that needs something to stay alive is playing somebody mid-table, and everyone cares about the last week of the season.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's going to be a draw. I think there's going to be a lot of smack and grabs. I might get them wrong in my bet, but I think there's going to be a lot of smash and grabs. I really do.
We turn our attention to the bottom of the table, which frankly was hot fucking garbage. I wanted to open the show with this because this is probably the better storyline, but no, the games were dog shit. They get moved to the second segment. Everton 1, Wolverhampton 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0, West Ham 3, Leeds 1. Toffee lose 2 players in the first half. They lose Patterson to an injury, and they lose Dominic Calvert-Lewin to an injury.
I don't know if that's much of an injury. Have you heard anything since then? Or is that was that a kind of precautionary to save him for the last game of the season?
He went down and grabbed his own groin and was in visible pain. Okay. So I don't know. I hope he's available. God, I hope he's available, because particularly in that game, the first 30 minutes, Everton were all over Wolves. The minute he went out, Everton lost all form of how they were going to play. And they were already starting the match without a left back in Myalenko, without Godfrey, who is also hurt. So Dwight McNeil had to play left back. Dwight McNeil has been one of the reasons why we've been getting up the pitch. And he got up the pitch a little, but he played like a left back. He stayed home most of the game.
Well, he's a dice guy.
And then you lost Patterson, had to put in big fucking Mickey Keggers. So now you've got 3 center backs and a winger playing your defense. And now, all that being said,
there's nothing more Sean Dyche than that.
Yeah, very true.
And looking like a Sean Dyche team
it does
is all I'm saying.
I would put out one very critical point is when Traore gets away in transition and Unana's chasing him down. Unana at one point pulls up his arms and lets him go. You take that fucking yellow card. That he doesn't, you put him on his ass. Like, and that's why they scored the goal, is because he didn't get put on his ass. Like, you put that man on his ass and take the yellow. Move on.
You need to, absolutely.
You know?
That's one where you have to, as I frequently done, take one for the team.
And he gets off the shot. Pickford makes a good save, falls to the Wang. The Wang buries it deep in the back.
Nice.
We're not going to say anything more than that. Just
Quality.
deep in the back.
Quality.
And one might say, if maybe there was a right back out there, maybe Wang would have been covered. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Could be. And as usual, after conceding the goal, Jordan Pickford got up and throated his entire defense.
Things were just, nothing was going Everton's way, and there were definitely chances for Wolves, and it just looked like this was going to be a 1-0 loss, and it was the drabbest of affairs. They resorted to, you want to talk about the most Dyche thing ever? Do you know who the striker was for the end of the match?
It was Michael Keane. Wasn't it?
Michael fucking, because no one could win any aerial balls.
Yeah.
And they just put him up there.
Here's the thing. Didn't Damari Gray get subbed in for McNeil?
No, not for McNeil. He got subbed in for Calvert-Lewin, but he couldn't get anything done up top.
Right, so he found himself on the wing following a corner is essentially what happened.
Right.
Corner gets recycled. He's there, kind of in where a left-back position would be.
Mm-hmm.
He floats a ball to the far stick. Michael Keane wins the header, knocks it down. It gets centered by another defender into Yerry Mina,
who puts it away.
Who's another defender, obviously, and puts it away.
Yes.
So 3 defenders combining for a scrappy goal in the box in a 99th minute.
Yes, in like 20 seconds left in the fucking match.
That looky like a Sean Dyche team.
I will say the following. Some Wolves fans are kind of pointing out that that the keeper might have been pushed a little, and I'm not saying that he wasn't.
No, fuck off.
But
there was nothing in that.
But I will say the following, and you all could say this if the shoe was on the other foot. A referee is never fucking calling that. Not in the final minute of a match. The ref is putting his fucking whistle in the pocket,
and he did.
Yeah, that's just like, you could say that that David Origi got all up in Pickford's spot when Pickford, did the old short arms on the post thing. They're not fucking calling that.
Yeah,
they're not calling that ever. It's the one time a keeper is not going to get the break. When
Correct.
It's right at the end and you're going for a loose ball and it's no man's land, you ain't getting the fucking call.
Correct. Now, the last sentence I wrote about this is this result adds extra outs for you next week.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Leeds' draw today takes some of those outs away.
Leicester, yeah.
Potentially. Yeah. Oh, Leicester, I'm sorry, not Leeds. Leicester's draw today takes away 2 or 3 of those potential outs for you.
Right. Now, if we
because
won
of goal difference and some other things.
Right. If we drew, we would need Leicester to lose, and then it wouldn't matter what
Had
Leeds
Leicester
did.
lost, the draw would have kept you safe.
Right. No, it would have put us even on points. It would have put us, because we're only 2 points ahead now. So,
Yeah, but you were 3.
Right.
If they lost, you were 3, so a draw would have made you 4.
Ah, very true. Very good. Yeah.
And their win would have only put you, they still would have been a point behind. So they took, when I wrote these notes, this is how on a knife edge it is.
Yeah.
Is from the time I wrote these notes and didn't edit them before we got here today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your permutations have dwindled.
Yeah. It's absolutely
after
insane.
Having increased.
Yep. It's absolutely insane. Force secure safety, and Owoni again with another goal. I think he's had like 5 in the last 6 matches or some shit like that. It's been insane how much he's been scoring.
Yeah, it's nuts. But Rob kind of summed it up perfectly when he said the out and out competition from 1st to 20th is so fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And this season has just proved it over and over again.
Yeah.
And I said, no shit, look at our last 5 weeks.
Yeah, precisely.
It's an absolute garbage. us.
Before we go ahead and touch on the Gunners a little bit, it is worth mentioning with them securing safety for only the third time in the Premier League in 2001 and 2011 and now 2023, all three promoted sides have secured safety. It will be three established clubs in the Premier League that will be going down.
And good on them.
Yeah, so we have very good on them. You guys had a ton of the ball, but you just didn't even look inspired.
It was one of the most boring games I've watched.
It was a dog shit match. All
I
these
fell
games
asleep
were
twice.
dog shit.
I fell asleep twice. Rob and I texted about it. He fell asleep as well.
Yeah.
At some point during the match. It was one of those, we can't seem to get out of this rut because we're depressed we lost the league.
Yeah.
We knew we lost the league. It was still mathematically possible. I told you that.
Right.
It was done.
Yeah.
It was over.
Right.
When we did not win at City, it was done.
Yeah.
And they have rattled off, 14 in a row or something, 12 in a row, something like that,
now.
somewhere
14.
around there. Their B team went and won the league on. I mean, they already had the league because we lost, but their B team went and insured the league on Sunday.
Yep,
you know,
precisely.
if you will, it's nobody can compete with that because our sub bench is Eddie Nketiah. Their sub bench is World Cup winner Julian Alvarez.
Yeah, precisely.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, precisely.
Eddie Nketiah doesn't even have 50 top flight appearances.
Yeah. Keeping it rolling here. The leads go up early, but the defense just bottles it again. Like, this has been, I mean, and the last two managers they got with Gracia and now Big Sam, you think these are the things that'll get fucking fixed, and it's just not.
But the issue with Leeds, they started so well, but just like you said with Patterson getting hurt and then Calvert-Lewin going down, Leeds were on the front foot for the opening 20 minutes. Then they have that penalty or whatever it was, and miss, give up a penalty on the other side.
That was last
I'm
week.
sorry, that was last week. You're right about that. Declan Rice scored. That's what it was.
And wide open. Wide the fuck open
but
on the weak
3
post.
minutes after Declan Rice scores, Bamford goes off injured.
Yeah.
So it was like, so they equalized and you lost your focal point.
Yeah.
All in one go. And then Rodrigo has not been the same player coming back from injury that he was in the first 10 games of the season.
He did get the goal in this, but there wasn't much else to it.
But it's not the same.
Yeah.
What he was in that for those first 10, 12 games of the season is not what he's been in the last 3 months. And he had that injury spell in the middle, and it's just has not clicked. It has not worked out. And they've missed a multitude of players. You know, Stuart Dallas, this was his first game back. Seems like a very Allardyce player. He's been out for like 8 months with an ACL or something.
Right.
So it's like, what are these people? Everyone else that's there that's been doing this for the whole season. What have you guys been working on? What have you been doing? Because it just hasn't. It all fell apart right before our eyes here.
So, real quickly, I'm gonna go
and
ahead.
West Ham made easy work of it.
Oh, they
essentially
did. They did. They
after that initial 25 minutes, and then the Bamford injury, West Ham took over. Is my point.
Could have been five.
So
there were a couple
what
of
is
wide
Leeds
opens.
actually working on? What have they been doing? What are these professional footballers, in air quotes, doing?
Nothing. It's
because I'd say the same about Southampton.
Right.
Leeds' defensive form, I would say the same about Southampton.
So we go ahead and play everybody's fun game that we've been playing lately, which is who's going down this week, Mr. Graham? Who do you think's going down?
I think you will be safe, and I think it's Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton.
Right. Well, we already know it's Southampton.
Obviously, it's Southampton, yeah, but I think it's Leicester, Leeds, and I think you'll be safe.
Yeah, I want to say we're going to be safe. I want to say now, but being at home at Goodison, it's a lot. That helps a lot.
Leeds is at home as well, but they're against
Leicester's at home.
Leeds are against Spurs.
Right. And here's the thing for scenarios, right? Leicester needs to win. We have to lose. If that happens, they jump us. They're good. Or if we draw, they win. They jump us because of goal differential.
But Leicester also play West Ham,
Right.
who are fucking flying.
Right.
And West Ham want to prepare. I'm sure they'll rest a player or two.
Yeah, but they're playing in the European final, and this is their last game before that.
They'll do exactly what Man City did at the weekend, and those couple of first-team players they've rested will get 30 minutes at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now,
that will prove to be too much.
I would say
they're enjoying their football down at West Ham.
The team that has the roughest out is now Leeds, because not only does Leeds have to win and both teams have to lose, if Leeds wins and Everton draw and Leicester lose, Leeds has to win by 3 against a team that is desperate to try to get into Europe.
They also have to open themselves up, exactly. But they also have the problem where they're
Against a team that loves to fucking counterattack. God,
and
does
their
Spurs love
defense
to
is
counterattack.
shit. And Harry Kane is saying goodbye to Spurs. That is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So leaving on a hat trick, having relegated a team, I heard makes your statue 7 inches taller
Yeah. Very good. Very fun.
when they finally give it to you.
I know. I'm going to tell you what I want. I'm not going to make a prediction. What I want is Everton to stay up. That's all I care about.
obviously.
Is I want Everton to stay up.
And fucking Mel. It's a
Breaking news when it feels like breaking.
Everton supporter Houston wants Everton to stay in the Premier League.
Good. I was able to avoid the question. Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. City won the title. Manchester City won. Chelsea 0. Brentford 3. Tottenham 1. Fulham 2. Palace 2. Brighton 3. Southampton 1. I wanted to just make sure we gave City winning the title exactly what it deserved. So that happened.
This is
City
as close,
won the title.
as close to robot football as you'll get.
Yeah.
There's no drama.
Okay. Yeah. Julian Alvarez scored. They had a goal called back. They had a couple of chances.
I mean,
Sterling almost scored.
Chelsea looked better than they have in recent weeks. I'll give them that. But it was, again, against a B team.
I just didn't even. You're auditioning now for Pochettino, and I just don't feel like they're
That's
showing
fair.
much.
That's fair.
I just don't feel like
It's still better than they've done in recent weeks, though.
it is going to be record low points for them in the Prem. It is going to be the first time they've been not in the top 10, at least 10th. Because remember that really disastrous year they had with Mourinho, right after they had won the title, which is kind of what Mourinho does. That was the one where he had money can't buy you stones when we beat them 2-0, and then Mourinho got fired. I'm trying to think of happier times as an Everton supporter.
Sometimes in Portugal we call cheese is cheese, bread is bread.
Bread is bread and cheese is cheese. But, and I would say in this case, Chelsea did not bring not just the basics of football, they failed at the basics of life as well.
Yeah. I mean, they had chances. They should have taken at least one. They didn't. That's the end of the story. It's been a shit year for Chelsea. Just, you finally became safe. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well done, you. You can start prepping for Pochettino to come in.
And it's
and Harry Kane.
And who the fuck's going to be there? Because you got to imagine it's going to be a lot of people.
They have to clear out or they won't be able to sign Kane.
So many people are going to get cleared out. That is for damn sure. The Bees score 3 unanswered in the second half after Spurs go up 1-0. I hate to say it, Spurs fucking deserve this. They deserve to not be in Europe, and it's not just because I want to see my wife's team make it to Europe. I actively don't want to see them make Europe. They don't fucking deserve it.
Yeah, they're not good.
There was a year
not good.
There was a year where it happened to you, and I looked at you guys and I said, "You don't fucking deserve it." That team is such a mess, and whoever takes it over next, it's not like Levy gives them what they need. He's proved time and time again he won't. And then
if anybody needs a change in ownership, it's Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Objectively, if anyone needs a new owner, it's Tottenham.
For being one of the wealthiest clubs in the world in all of sports, they can't seem to manage to,
look at you guys with your one FFP violation. Mm-hmm. At least Mashuri tried.
Right.
You could say that.
Tried.
He's an idiot. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't listen to the manager.
Right.
Which is a problem.
Or the director of football.
But at least he tried. He did something.
He tried something.
pen to paper on a bank statement.
And bought people. Yeah.
Daniel Levy just goes, I figured it out. Hey, you know what? We got bottom pouring pints downstairs. If you'd like to go get yourself one of those on your way out.
But with that being said, Brentford secures top 10 finish. Little old Brentford, right? We're just happy to be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. A top 10 fucking side. Need to start getting used to that. You know, like there's going to be a lot of clubs that this is not your father's Premier League anymore. It's not.
No, and for teams like Brentford, for teams like Brighton especially as well, with his European jaunt on top of their finish, those teams now have money. They're already good at managing money.
Mm-hmm.
They're already good at finding people. Brighton have already made 3 signings.
Yeah.
James Milner and a couple of other young South American kids.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already signed replacements for Caicedo.
Yeah.
You know, it's Brentford. The only person that's going to miss playing football at Brentford for 8 months is Ivan Toney.
I was about to get to that.
And that's it. Because Brentford will find somebody to fill that role.
Oh, yeah.
And this game looked like it was Brian Mbuemo, who very obviously can play center forward.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely can.
2 brilliant finishes, in my opinion, from him. Wisa, same thing. Excellent steal in and header. They can share the load and do a job until Ivan Toney's back.
And then
even if they don't sign somebody.
They still have the kid De Silva who comes off the bench for him, who that's all he's done this season. He just comes off the bench. He hasn't played a ton. He can fucking do a job.
Oh, yeah.
There.
But if there was anybody I would trust with money, it's the sporting director at Brighton and the sporting director at Brentford.
Absolutely.
And this top 10 finish is going to garner an extra 15, 20 million quid that they can find the next gem again.
So quick thought about the Toney suspension. I don't know about you, leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth.
It's a little racist, I think.
Well,
personally,
if you were going to suspend him, why didn't you, especially if you're going to suspend him during the season, why didn't you just do it when you had, because you had it all, there was no need to follow a trial. He had already been found guilty of it. It was, so why didn't you just wait till the summer to suspend him? Because you wanted to make sure it lines up with exactly January that he's able to come back? Either suspend him during the summer or suspend him when you fucking caught him doing it. One or the other, but not when there's like
I think
2 games left. It just.
I think he appealed.
Yeah,
and when you appeal, your sentence is stayed for the moment.
It just leaves,
which is why people appeal.
Yeah.
Which is why the FA put in a frivolous appeal suspension to tack on extra shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the case here, though. They did not use that extra frivolous thing to add on here. What I will say is I've looked at a few cases of players betting, and the most they got was 4 months, not 8 months. And
do you think it's 8 because some of it was the summer?
No.
Okay.
The guy doing cocaine, former Chelsea midfielder, Romanian international. I can't remember his name. Years ago.
Keep it going.
Anyway, he was banned for 2 years. That included the summers.
Okay.
All of those suspensions include the summers. You're banned from all football-related activity, official capacity.
Well, I'm saying instead of giving him a 6-month ban, they gave him an 8-month ban because 2 of those months were the summertime.
I don't think they did. I think it's just straight up bias, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I really do.
Fair enough.
But John Terry was racist to a player's face twice, and he got 8 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And at the time, they were playing midweek stuff because they had to catch shit up, so he was only gone for like 3 weeks. I just find it a bit strange.
Yeah.
I find that to be a bit more egregious than betting on football, personally.
I just wish they had waited till the summer.
Yeah, if they're going to do this, they should have addressed City's possible points deduction during the season, too.
Right.
And I'd be sitting here having a much more happy fun conversation.
Yeah, but there was point deductions. I'd already be fucking relegated, so let's move on. Nothing to see here. You look.
You only have one.
Yeah, well.
You get a slap on the wrist. It's fine.
Hopefully.
All Mushari has to do is buy a couple of hookers.
They need to
for
make
the guys at the FA. And
they
a
need
steak
to make
dinner.
an example of somebody. Do you think they're going to make an example of City, or do you think they're going to make an example of little old Everton? Who are they going to make the example of?
Depends if Pep stays.
Especially because Everton was very lippy about the Super League and was very lippy about COVID and how they kept everybody hired on and working and paid during COVID. So
if Pep stays, City don't see a point deduction. If Pep leaves, I don't think anybody will give a fuck because they'll give themselves their own point deduction.
Right.
Because I think their entire success relies on him.
Heard. Now, I'm going to say the following, despite the fact that it was a fairly entertaining game, but the storyline is very simple. Fulham secure top half finish, and Palace secure 12th. But it was an entertaining game. It was 2-2. I thought it was going to be just a drab 0-0, 1-1, and there was actually some action in this match.
Well, it's easy when you rugby tackle somebody in the last possible moment of stoppage time in the first half.
Very true.
That usually ignites things, especially when that player, that incident rather, inspires Mitrovic to almost rip a hole in the back of the net with his penalty.
Yeah, no shit.
And then inspires him to such a degree that 5 minutes into the second half with a header. That, Mel, remember when we used to do terms and definitions with you the first season we did this?
Yes.
If there was a term or a GIF, right, for a bullet header as a definition, this was a bullet header.
There we go.
The manner in which this man put his head through the ball and the way in which it sprung off the back of the net and hit that young bloke in the back of his head, goalkeeper, after it had already scored and humiliated him.
Yes.
It would be right there in Webster's. That is a bullet header.
It was a bullet header. Yeah, I mean, but all that being said, that's kind of the long and short of it. Fulham are going to be top 10, which fucking dream for them. And also to finish above Chelsea in the table is everything.
And as shit as the treatment of Eze has been by Patrick Vieira this season, I think he has proved himself worthy of ready to take the next step. I think
agree.
Palace are going to have trouble keeping hold of Eze this summer.
I very much agree.
He was phenomenal in this game. And everything they did brilliant. That run that he made to alleviate the pressure, but then to release Edouard for the first goal was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
That little bit of skill to buy him the space to accelerate into, and then the weight of the pass was phenomenal. Edouard won't move on because he doesn't do it consistently enough, but what a finish. Near post with his off foot.
Yeah.
Come on. It's fantastic.
Seagulls have secured Europe for the first time in club history. You want to talk about a team that's doing it right on the field, in the back boardroom, everything. Next guy up, next coach up. It doesn't fucking matter. We'll be okay. We're going to, you know what? They're probably going to lose Alexis McAllister next year. And you know what? They're going to be okay.
Apparently, the Liverpool deal with McAllister is almost done.
Yeah.
But they're also sending James Milner and a couple others to Brighton. In almost a swap deal, but I think Brighton's also going to receive a little cash as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they're, again, doing it right. If there's anybody that's old at Liverpool that you want, it's fucking James Milner.
Oh, fuck
he can still do a job.
Better yet,
he's my age, and look at me.
He handles, he can handle your locker room.
Well, exactly. That's what they did with Milana.
Yep.
And he's been brilliant.
Yep.
Southampton. It's been like this all season. They have a chance early. Alcaraz misses it. And then the whole team just goes,
There it was. There was our chance. It's over.
Oh,
now.
well. Not, 7 minutes later or something? Ferguson.
Yep.
And then Ferguson again. And it's just, it's reminiscent. It's not as bad. Don't get me wrong, Kenny. It's not as bad. But it's reminiscent of what Norwich did a couple years ago.
Very much so.
And we looked at it, just went, why are we talking about this?
Yeah.
There's no point to talk about this. This is pitiful.
Yep, agreed.
And it's a shame because Theo Walcott actually gave a fuck. Former gunner Theo Walcott gave a shit and tried, and you know, forgot to cut his toenails.
Yeah,
or it could have been a draw.
Barely offsides. Yep, agreed. Yeah, it's disappointing. Like I said, there are all three of the promoted teams are secure. There are going to be 3 very big clubs going down. Now, I know Leeds has only been up for a little while. If they go down again,
they're massive club.
Everton is fucking massive. Leicester won the fucking league, for Christ's sake, recently. You know, like, just these are big clubs that are going down. And I would start to say that the teams in the championship have been biding their time and doing it right. And you know what? If you keep fucking off with the money and you're spending it the wrong way and you're just throwing money at the problem and you think that that's going to fix it and you keep firing managers over and over and over again, this is what's going to happen. And I'm looking at you, Leeds. I'm looking at you, Leicester. And I'm looking at you, Everton.
Sure money.
This is the segment of the show, if you're new to us, where we bet on football to better inform you on your bets in football.
Do the opposite of what we do and you will win money.
Here is the example that shows you the irony, if you need help with that definition. I am minus 3,600 because we take the first week off of betting. So I've lost every single fucking bet this season.
Yes, every single one.
Every single one. And you know what? For once, I'm going to just go ahead and take responsibility for it.
You blame yourself?
My Sports Direct Cup of Losers, or oversized Sports Direct mug. Fuck me. Just absolutely fuck me.
Okay.
It is my fault.
Good news is we will be emptying this cup. I'm not going to not remember to empty it like last season.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Now, we do some wild and wacky stuff, you know, to still be entertaining. We are a podcast. We are a show. We try to do some stuff. But I genuinely think most of my shit will win.
Yeah.
These last few weeks, I've just been fucking off.
Yeah.
And this week, I'm going to fuck it off again.
Very good.
But first, we're going to get to my esteemed colleague who is in the lead, I believe.
No, Pat is.
Oh, Pat is in the lead. Okay.
I would have been in the lead today if
Had
Newcastle.
he not won. Gotcha.
Newcastle had just fucking won. If Newcastle had won, I'd have fucking jumped being
him.
like minus 400. It would have been fucking perfect. But no, Newcastle fucked me. They didn't help Everton.
Nice.
They didn't help my bet. They didn't help anybody except for themselves, just like a bunch of fucking Geordies. That's what they do, man. Fuck them. So anyways, I am now down $1,552.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
16.66666666667% of the time. It works 100% of the time.
Same.
Exactly. I wrote Newcastle couldn't help us/me out because that is exactly what it is. Mr. Graham, I'm going to do what I like to call pulling a U. I am going to do a 7-leg parlay. I am not touching the relegation games. I do not want to put any juju or any stank on that. So I'm staying away from Everton, Bournemouth, Leicester, West Ham, and Leeds, Tottenham. But I am betting all the others. And I'm just going to give you the winners. I am taking Liverpool, Manchester United, Palace, Newcastle, Man City, Villa, and Arsenal all to win at plus $4,240.
What I'll say is that's cute.
I know. Well, you're going to do a lot more, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Not good gambling.
Oh, you get ready. It's a lot better.
Well, you know who's probably also not going to have good gambling?
It never does, really, does he?
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Pat, my friend, how are you doing?
Hey there, how y'all doing?
Fabulous.
It's Friday.
Hey there. Hey, what's going on, guys? I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks.
Nothing, man. How, you all right? You take a couple naps? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fighting through it, watching a little hockey.
All right, there
It's
you
not
go.
very exciting. but it's hockey.
Famously, one of the most exciting sports that exists.
Well, I mean, it's Florida, Carolina, and Vegas and Dallas. It couldn't be more of a disinteresting Eastern and Western Conference finals. But looks like it's going to be Florida and Vegas in the finals. That'll probably be the lowest watched Stanley Cup finals in recent history.
Two very well-known ice states.
Yeah.
Four very well-known ice states.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah, Miami, Florida.
Yeah. Texas.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, they just showed Koepka at the stand because he's a big Florida Panthers fan. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you know what? To wrap that up, since we're not an ice hockey show, or golf, I did win $96 on the PGA final round yesterday.
Oh, cool. Who'd you put your money on, Koepka?
I put it on Koepka pre-tournament, but I did do a few live round $2 bets with the old plus 2,500. Both people to put it within 20 feet on their second shot. Hit a couple of those.
Nice.
It was nice. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Both people to birdie. That fucking last putt by Koepka that he left an inch short
Oh, wow.
was worth $55 to me, and he left it an inch short.
Oh,
I know, I saw.
Yeah, terrible. Anyway, let's get back to the football. What happened to you last week, and what's going to happen to you this week?
I mean, my safe bet, I can't believe I lost it, but that's just the story of the year, right? I mean, I just
happens on the
placed
show,
a boring safe bet, and yeah, for sure. I didn't even just, it was a 2-game parlay, and I lost both of them, so yeah.
What are you down right now?
$915.
Okay, so he's probably safe unless I hit my miracle.
Please.
Yeah, but I'm going to go for even, so it's not like I'm going to play it safe either. I'd like to be, no, I'm still putting a 4-game parlay in which would put me up $150 on the season.
All right, let's hear it. What is it?
Okay. I thought that heavy pause was,
Well, it's dramatic. I just had to keep it moving.
Gotcha. So I'm going to take Liverpool over Southampton, Newcastle over Chelsea, Tottenham over Leeds, and Palace over Forest. And I know, like, you're talking about relegation games and staying away from them, but what's the fun in that? I'm gonna take one.
All right, good. Just don't.
And
take
Chelsea
mine.
fucked me last week, and they'll probably fuck me this week with beating Newcastle. But
They won't. That's not the game
They
I have
won't.
to worry about.
no,
All right, brother.
what's the game I have to worry about?
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me. What's the game I got to worry about?
Oh, for your betting?
For yours?
Yeah.
I mean,
Newcastle, Chelsea, who the fuck knows? Because they're both secure
it ain't
where they
gonna
are in the
it ain't gonna
table.
be Chelsea. Exactly.
Liverpool, Southampton, who the fuck knows? Because, well, I mean, unless United doesn't get points on the midweek, if United gets points in the midweek, it doesn't matter. Liverpool finishes in 5th no matter what. So you get to these end of the season. Don't worry, I picked a bunch of just favorites on mine. You just don't know because everybody's already on Dubai time, man. They're already at the fucking beach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I figured that. That's why it's probably a stupid week to pick a parlay. But I was thinking about picking them all for 100 and saying fuck it. But no, I'll play it. I guess this is playing it safe.
I'm
A 4-game parlay.
I'm doing 7 games. Graham's doing all 12.
Listen, you know what, Pat?
Yeah.
Pat, Mel, keep him on the phone. When I'm done reading off my list, you get one fucking sentence. And then Mel's hanging up on you, okay? Because you think you're playing it safe with a 4-game. I got a 12-game parlay.
Here we go, stud.
Every motherfucking game left in the season, I'm betting in one go for
Terrible with money.
$100. I'm either winning or I'm crashing the fuck
Not
out.
good gambling.
Because winning for me, if I hit this, I'm at a plus $216,834. So you're goddamn right. I put a real American dollar on it on DraftKings.
Very good.
Because then I'll win $2,000.
All right, what do you got?
And for the show, I'm just going to give you winners again on the midweek stuff. I've got City beating Brighton. I've got Manchester United. Then I've got Arsenal over Wolves starting the weekend. Manchester United, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Manchester City again, Everton beating Bournemouth. Come on, stay in the league.
Yeah.
And then I've got West Ham over Leicester because Leicester are shite. And then, you know what? I did put one draw.
You did?
Leeds, Tottenham, the Big Sam effect. He's going to get a draw, so he'll be absolutely chuffed, and then he'll realize that it didn't save him.
Yeah, very good.
That's it. That is my 12-game parlay, like I said, plus 216,834. Should I win,
Terrible with money.
I would be $180,834 to the good.
Very good.
Should I win? Okay?
Please, everybody, gamble legally and responsibly. Responsibly.
Fucking brilliant. Another great
He hung up on us. What a dick.
Beautiful. Well done, Patty.
That was perfect.
Well fucking
He
done.
said, deuces, I'm out.
I was going to say, it was another great season of him being on the show doing gambling. I look forward to next season, but now I got to think that over, Yeah. I am kidding. The kid's fucking gold. He'll be back. He will definitely be back next season. And you know who is actually up and is guaranteed to be up? Fucking chicken.
Well, Kitty hit with the draw and sits at 19 and 17. Now, Kitty wanted to inform you that another season where she did bet better than both of you.
Yep, she did. She always
100%.
does.
Yep.
The chicken always
She's
knows.
5 for 5. Better than us every year.
So for the final week, I gave Kitty Aston Villa hosting Brighton. Now, no famous people this time, boys. Kitty simply pulled out a little claret flag that said Villanista. She's obviously taking Villa to win and secure European football.
Very
Had too many of those this season, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I don't have to say it because the degenerate already did, so hopefully everybody is already gambling legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
It's a good final, isn't it?
By the way, you forgot to do that during the
I
show.
didn't forget anything. You forgot to pour it for me. I don't have access to the bottle of
You could
Malort.
have asked for it.
I'm all right. Why would I do that? It's a good final, isn't it?
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
really good final. I'm very excited.
Coventry hasn't been up since the first year the Premier League was around,
And
Luton
Luton
has
Town
never been up. Yep.
In the Premier League. They've been in the first division, not in the Premier League.
Yep, that's going to be pretty fucking great, and that is Saturday. All the other matches play on Sunday. So
11 for you have no excuse. Pay your $5 or $7, whatever it is now. Get ESPN. This is the most expensive game in football. If you're a Manchester City fan, you obviously love money. Fucking tune into this game.
Yeah.
Both clubs stand a chance of hundreds of millions of pounds.
Yep. It's
If you're a
typically-
Chelsea fan, you love money poorly spent. Championship clubs always poorly spend money. Tune into this game.
Yeah, I tell you, it's not typically a very good game. It's normally a very cagey affair because
But there's a
both
really
teams are
large
wait-
check.
They don't want to fuck up, and it shows.
If you frequently spend money responsibly like Arsenal do, then you should probably tune into this game. If you should want to watch who else gets one FFP violation with a worse penalty than the biggest fucking club in the world, watch this game.
You want to see another team sign 45 new players? Watch this game.
If you're a fan of capitalism, watch this game. This show is in America.
Yeah,
There's nothing better than this game.
This game is fantastic. I'm excited as hell. I got nothing planned, and I told Mel, I was like, yeah, we got Saturday free to do whatever we want, except for
11:45 to
championship play-in
1:30.
game.
Yep. It
That
usually
we are watching.
it very frequently is a shit game, but you do get those instances, like Gianfranco Zola's Watford, where the final 4 minutes
Insanity.
is insanity. And it's brilliant. And it's a Emi Martinez save on the line, or Manuel Amuña, whoever it was at the time. Actually, I think it was Manuel
And then a
Amuña.
goal
wasn't
at
it?
the other end of the
And then a
pitch,
goal at the
seconds
other
later.
end. It is glorious. just watch this game. It is so important to the league system. It's why British football is so brilliant. Watch this game.
Start to get to know the next team that's going to be in the Prem next year.
Yes.
Because it's going to be someone who hasn't been around for a long, long
And
time.
it could be a player that's on your team next year.
Mm-hmm. You want to know who's going to be the who's going to be the big goal scorer for your fantasy team that's not going to score any goals? You need to watch this game.
Yeah.
Very
exactly.
Good. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, I know we have some parting words today.
We've got 2 sets of parting words today,
Very
actually,
good.
because I was made aware of what happened in Spain
Okay, what happened
and
in
the
Spain?
racist abuse to Carlos Vinicius Jr. In Spain, he received a lot of racist abuse again this season. He called it out. The players were trying to hold him back from engaging with fans, which they rightly, because he would get banned for doing, regardless of what the fans did, which I think is bullshit. That is also a theme in the next set of parting words. But in every hearing and everything that the Spanish FA do, they kind of essentially pass the buck and almost blame Vinicius Jr. for perpetuating by calling it out. Because it's not real racism, Vinicius. It's racism to get you to play bad. They don't mean it. They're just saying it so you don't play as well as you do.
So we're not just pointing out the supporters
It's
for
undermining. The
being
quote
D-backed.
is it undermines real racism.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just...
The Spanish government, the Spanish FA, and the
Fuck you,
clubs
Spanish government.
and the opponent players and everybody else, it is so regular and rampant in Spain, apparently, that this is just okay. And it's fucking not okay.
Here's a question for you, because I wasn't familiar with the story until you just brought it up now.
Yeah.
Because this is a legit question. Was it opposing fans, or was it Madrid fans because they got bounced from the fucking Champions League and they aren't winning a title this year? Because that runs in line for Madrid and Barcelona supporters.
Supposedly it was opposing fans.
Yeah.
The part that I heard was opposing fans to Real Madrid.
Yeah, good. It's not
But
out
it's
of the
just-
possibility for it to be their own fans, because they get way butt-sized about those trophies, and they're supposed to be given to them every single year. Like, Ancelotti's going to lose his job because he didn't give him a trophy this year.
I have a question, and this is a very privileged question, but I have a question. Both of them are bad, obviously.
Right.
Which one's worse? Naive, dumb, ignorant, uneducated, stupid, run-of-the-mill racism, or weaponized, targeted, fucking, I know this is going to be a problem for this guy racism? What's worse? Is there a worse?
I would say the first, because a lot of times it's dumb ignorance, and you can potentially
But that's the
change
thing,
that
you can
person's
fix
mind
that.
and teach them. The second one, they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't fucking care that they're doing it. I would say more the first.
Inherently, does that make it worse? Because they know what they're doing on purpose?
The second one, yeah, I would say so. I would say this. I would say the pointed, directed. You know exactly what you're fucking doing is worse. Not that either are good, but I would
No,
say
they're both terrible.
That's
And
certainly the worst.
I fully recognize the position I'm in and the privilege I have to ask this question.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's a, if you meet somebody on the street and they're, oh, stupid N-word, but somebody going, you're a fucking, on purpose, like doing something, you know what I mean? Pointed, weaponized, I'm going to fuck with you racism. Is it worse? Is there a worse?
It is worse.
It
is worse.
It just seems to me that it's terrible.
So
People could be racist and not change the world. Nazis changed the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like weaponized racism is worse, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And this makes it more, not that it should happen to anybody and not that it's less egregious when it happens to somebody that isn't as talented, but you have one of the poster boys of your league, one of the poster boys of your team, the most recognizable sports brand in the world, the most valuable sports brand in the world, and one of your most talented players, and not even your own president, your own players, the players are actually starting to stand up for him, but your own fans, like, nobody's giving a fuck that this has happened to you.
Yeah, and when he's not there anymore, you'll look around at each other and go, why'd he leave? Why'd he go?
It's so obvious that this is a fucking common old garden problem in Spain that it needs to be addressed all the more seriously.
Well, the second story, the literal people literally being dicks.
Oh, yeah. This is a fun cunt story because it has a happy ending. AZ Alkmaar fancies themselves the West Ham of Holland.
Yeah.
Problem is, they actually, against NIJ Nijmegen, or whatever that team's called, NIJGENM, I think it is, whatever that is, they actually organized a 20-on-20 scrap prior to a game 20 miles from the stadium in this barren wasteland, much like the ultimate fight in Green Street Hooligans.
Right.
One was dressed in all black, one was dressed in all white, and they went at it.
Okay.
That happened.
Right.
A few months ago. West Ham visits the stadium in the Europa League semifinal second leg, leading 2-1. West Ham wins 1-0 and a goal in the second half. And Ultras, as they're known throughout mainland Europe, hooligans, as they're known in England, decided to storm the West Ham section of fans. They got the side of that section that also held the family and friends of players and the hospitality section, the dignitaries and the, VIPs, quote unquote. Somebody that happened to a ticket in that stand was a guy named Chris Knoll.
And allow me to say the following. What we're about to have happen here is a fine example of fucking around and finding out. Please.
100%. 100%.
We fancy ourselves ultras. Oh, really? Meat and iron.
Meet West Ham. Meet two West Ham supporters. 40 to 50 to 60, somewhere in that sort of range. Hooded AZ Alkmaar fans stormed the stairs of this section of West Ham supporters. 4 or 5 of them were videoing. So we got to see the heroics that happened. 2 of them were fighting. One of them was fighting a lot. And he was the one that was fucking Leonidas at the base of the cliffs. He was the East London Leonidas.
Yes.
Okay? And he said, this is fucking Ironville. And just pummeled these cunts right back and forth. Ended up they were trying to drag one of their guys back, and he was trying to pull him back up the stairs to continue pummeling his face. And eventually the cops, kind of strolled out in their little cop strut. They already started retreating because of these 2 guys, the most famous of which we know, I believe he's 53 or 54 years old, Chris Knoll, father of 4, electrician, season ticket holder at West Ham, the Angel of Alkmaar, as he's now very affectionately known.
Shirt ripped, black eye,
and still throws up the irons.
I am good
at the end of it.
Shit out
Motherfucker had a pinky ring and his wedding ring on one hand, a pinky ring and a ring on his Spanish wedding ring on the other hand, and was just giving it to him. Recent recipient of a hip transplant. I saw him kick no less than 3 people in that video. Fucking brilliant. But AZ Alkmaar, you're the cunt of the week because you lost. It happens. Things happen. It's a bad, it suffers. It all sucks. I lost in a European final to Chelsea to a goal from a striker that used to play for us. Guess what we didn't do? Target the family and friends of the players. You're cowards. You're cunts, and we don't fucking appreciate it. And I am so grateful that you watched a Dutch dubbed version of one of the most westernized versions of English hooliganism, and you got fucking found out by 2 people. 2. 60 y'all got found out by 2.
Fucking
soft.
Brilliant.
The biggest and best thing that could have happened to your little fucking hooliganism was to find out that you're soft, and you are. So fuck you.
Mel, anything from the gallery
Hey,
tonight?
you know what? Hey, I'm taking a shot on Malort, not for Arsenal's loss, because we didn't lose. We qualified for the Champions League. You didn't. Guess what? I'm taking this shot for you as at Alkmaar fans. Your terrible fucking loss to 2 people. Go fuck yourselves.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, boys and girls. Next up is Injury Time, where we're going to review the beers we've been drinking. We're going to talk about the weekend's action and check in on our adopted clubs, along with looking in on our fantasy scores as well. Mr. Graham, should somebody want to find Injury Time, how do they go about doing it?
Didn't even gag because I'm hard.
Yeah, you are hard.
Patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $5 tier to get all of our extra content, which surprisingly is worse than this.
I just think you're hard because you were thinking about the Green Street Hooligans again. Till next week, everybody.
I mean, I've been struggling a bit.